I'm Jackie Landler. I'm the Director of Substance Abuse Services at A Chance to Change. My colleagues and I are here today to introduce to you a service of A Chance to Change that is called the Education Series. Every Monday evening from 6:30 to 8, we present one of the 6-part series about chemical dependency. I'm going to be giving you a little bit of number one. The topic is the disease concept. Then some of my colleagues will be giving you some of the other pieces. So to talk about the disease concept of chemical dependency, first let me define that chemical dependency is a way of saying both alcoholism and drug addiction under the term chemically dependent. That means we group all mood-altering chemicals together, alcohol in all of its forms, the things that we think of as street drugs, and even prescriptions that are mood-altering. And the most important thing I want you to remember from this portion of the program is that chemical dependency is a disease. It's not a matter of willpower, it's not a sin, it's not a weakness. When someone is chemically dependent or alcoholic or drug addicted, because we use those terms interchangeably, what that means is there's a very good person deep down inside, but they have a bad disease for which they deserve to get the very best kind of help. A few key concepts. We believe the chemical dependency is the root problem, what we call the primary problem. We don't believe that people use mood-altering chemicals because of the other issues in their life, but we believe instead that the chemical dependency causes those other issues. We also believe that the disease is progressive. Without help, people are going to get progressively worse, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Then we believe that the disease is chronic. No one is ever well or fixed or cured, but they can learn how to take care of themselves so they're no longer sick from their behavior through working a 12-step program such as Alcoholics Anonymous, which is really the spiritual basis of recovery. And finally, we believe that the disease is potentially fatal, causes premature deaths through a number of different ways: car accidents, overdoses, drug dealers evening the score, suicides, long-term effects on the organs of the body. So we take this disease very, very seriously. Now, in order to explain how someone becomes chemically dependent, I'm going to use what I call a feelings chart. This end of the chart stands for pain, emotional pain, feeling really down, lonely, angry, guilty, sad, scared, all those feelings that we've all had at various times that we don't want to have. This stands for normal, how most of us feel most of the time, normal, everyday, average kinds of feelings. And this stands for euphoria, being really happy, excited about something. And again, we don't stay there very long. We come back down into feeling normal. Now, the age that people first start using now is 12 years old. That's when the average kid starts to experiment by drinking a little beer or by smoking a marijuana joint. And they experiment these first few times because of subtle peer pressure. They want to fit in, and it's not cool in our society to be completely straight, but it's cool to use a little bit. And then they're naturally curious about things. So they start off with their normal everyday hassles. When they first use an experiment, they pull up, they feel a little bit better, a little bit relaxed, and then they come right back down to normal. And they learn to trust this mood-altering chemical to make them feel better up here and to not hurt them. Then some continue to use socially so that they swing up, then they come right back down to normal, no problems, no hassles, no consequences. People who have the genetic predisposition to becoming chemically dependent are not able to control that in that way. So instead of coming down to normal, they start coming down to problems and consequences related to their chemical use. When these things are going on and the person continues to use, that's when a person is developing the disease chemical dependency. And the interesting thing that goes along with this is they cannot see what's happening to them. They blame their problems on other people. They make excuses for themselves. They deny what's going on. Eventually, they start breaking their moral values. They start experiencing blackouts. But they're not doing all this denial and blaming other people just to con the people who love them. They themselves are conned. They're out of touch with reality. That is the nature of this disease, that they're coming down to problems and consequences. They either do not think they have any problems and consequences, or they think someone else or something else is causing the problems, what we call a very strong, distorted sense of reality, denial. And that denial is the chief chief symptom of this disease, chemical dependency. That's why it's so illogical that you can't talk to a person who's chemically dependent and make them rationally see what's going on in their life. More about that sense of denial, that distorted sense of reality, in the segment called Enabling.